Mr. Imig is not here, so I'll call roll. Bill Jarvis.
Here.
Miles Long.
Here.
Robert Kokon.
Here.
Chris Rack.
Here.
Tom Anderson here. So absent is Tom Corris and Gary Imig. First item, 7 Brew Coffee, general location 990 US 41, Ryan's re-subdivision of Lot 1. Petitioner, Who Brew LLC, Laura Pacino, represented by engineer James Huss Jr., DVG Team Inc., request US 41 Commercial Corridor Overlay District Development Plan Review. Good evening, Mr. Huss.
Good evening. We were before some of you at BZA. So Who Brew LLC is bringing 7 Brew Coffee to Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland suburbs. They're an exclusive franchisee in the area. I'm sure you've seen some of them pop up in the very recent past in Schererville, Crown Point, Dyer, and a few other soon to be built. There'll be one in Hobart, Michigan City. They're looking at Portage. So Schererville being the large town that it is, the brand obviously has interest in being in Schererville as well. The property in question tonight is 990 US 41, the northwest corner of Willowbrook Drive and US 41. This is the recently vacated Wendy's restaurant that hasn't been empty for very long. So they are under contract for this property, and we're here before you tonight as a plan commission. Given that we're in the overlay district, this is our required study session before we can move forward to more formal meetings, hopefully a month from now. But what you have, I believe you have the same packet that's on the screen now and in your hands as well. It contains what I believe to be a very, very complete listing of the required materials that the town requires before moving forward. There is a site plan that's on the screen right now. You have a full signage brand book. You have a very detailed landscaping plan, a demonstration that the lighting plan will adhere to your ordinance. And again, we're here to answer any questions because it's otherwise a very straightforward project. It will be a tear down and rebuild. They're not retrofitting the building. The outer expanse of the site will remain exactly like it does for Wendy's, but obviously reconfigured for their prototype building, their dual drive-through lanes, a bypass lane that can be used as a third stacking lane in their more busy periods. But otherwise, it's going to be a development that sits on a lot that's already there in a subdivision that has an REA already set up that gives this lot access to the surrounding access roads. And in that respect, everything's kind of made in such a way that a new user can come right in, and that's what Who Brew intends to do with this property.
So I'm looking, you've got your lane 1 and your lane 2 and your pass-through. How do you determine when the pass-through becomes a third drive-through?
So I'm going to let Laura, for the most part, I would estimate that 95% of operating hours will only have the 2 drive-through lanes, and the pass-through lane will operate as a bypass lane should somebody need to leave the property. But I'm going to let Laura speak for a minute to describe the operations on when they, on a monthly basis, do maybe expect to see greater traffic that might need the third lane.
Yeah, so I will say...
Sorry, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I'm Laura Pacino. I'm the entitlement coordinator for Who Brew LLC, the franchisee for 7 Brew. This stacking right here shows a car load of 49. Probably one of the largest ones that we have, definitely in Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland area. On grand opening week, and then also on our swag days, which are the 7th of the month, those would typically be the only times that we would use that third lane to transfer from a bypass lane into a drive-through lane, and that is up to our operations team. They are very well versed in when that lane needs to be open so that we do not block any traffic on the outer roads.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if you're doing all 3, what happens to the people who are parked in the lot on the south and want to leave?
So those would typically only be used for our employees. We do not have any dine-in service. We are a drive-through concept only. So again, our employees are well-versed. When we have people that come out, we would stop one car and then have that car back out, and our employees just know they might have to sit in a line for a minute or
So
two.
there's no indoor
No.
seating whatsoever?
No.
Is there a walk-up window?
There is a walk-up window. We do not advertise for it, but if somebody were to come from the Home Depot and walk over, we would not turn away a customer. We would direct them to the non-service, non-drive-through side and take their order there and deliver it on that side.
So when that third lane would be used, would the entrance on the west side over here, would that be closed off to keep cars from trying to cut in
Yes.
so that we don't have back out
Yes.
onto Willowbrook?
So, as recommended by BZA, we are also closing I'm terrible with directions, southwest. There is an entrance right there, where we are closing off for the trash corral. And then, yes, in those instances, that ingress and egress would be closed off so that you can only access from the north side.
Okay, so people could pull up and try and cut in?
Correct.
Okay.
And again, our team is very well-versed in traffic management. We work with a traffic management team prior to opening, and then that traffic management third-party team is on site for a period of time, and then they also train our in-house staff.
What are your typical operating hours? Is it open longer on those swag days?
So we are open 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
One thing that is different than the rest of the country is on swag days, typically, it was 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Were the swag times, again, just running with the number sevens. Given how the concept has taken the Chicagoland by storm, we do have franchisor rights to run it all day long, just to alleviate that traffic to not be at those certain 2 hours. So swag day runs from opening until closing.
And I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with,
Swag Day is on the 7th of every month, and it's a giveaway. 1 month it was like a Taylor Swift bracelet, 1 month it was a car coaster, just depends on whatever corporate decides that is. And so typically you have to buy 2 medium drinks in order to get your free gift.
okay. I just didn't know what.
No, you're fine.
Questions?
Is there or does there need to be any type of agreement with Home Depot for those days?
I would say legally, no. While it is not in your packet, it was submitted with and I'm happy to, if I haven't already, I'm happy to submit the full REA that's already in place, that was in place for Wendy's. It is very, very clearly delineated that the strip of land, both to the west and immediately to north, that is essentially full right-of-way for this lot, just like it is for Home Depot. That is ironclad in the documents that existed when Wendy's did.
Other questions?
What's generally the wait time for a customer? I mean, like, average, what would you say, average 2 to 3 drinks a car? Or 2 drinks a car?
Yes, it depends. We try to average 4 to 5 minutes. Our concept is there are no menu boards, so we follow the Portillo's and the Chick-fil-A model. Our employees walk down the drive aisle and take orders on iPads.
Okay,
So they can loop all the way around in order to get drinks out faster.
okay.
But Portillo's does have a menu board. Are you going to have any kind of, okay.
We are a TikTok social media craze. If you were to look up 7 Brew Drinks, that's kind of how you figure out what, if you are a brand new person, I will be honest, it is kind of confusing. We start out with 7 basic coffees, and then what makes us different is the amount of syrups that we have, where you can make 40,000 different drink options. You know, you can add some cinnamon and, I don't know, some vanilla and something else and make your own drink concoction. So our core demographic is 15 to 25-year-olds, which is also our employee base.
And looking at the drawing L 1.0, that entranceway is gone, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was,
We obviously prepared, so just to fill some of the members that aren't also part of the BZA, as a condition of the special use, we were originally planning simply to gate off that driveway. I believe it was Councilman Johnson made it very clear that he wanted it gone, and if that's what it took, that's what it took. And obviously, this landscaping plan was prepared prior to
Okay.
that site plan update.
Yeah, because I'm on the BZA, so we had stipulated that. I just want to make sure.
And then one other item that I probably should have started out with. I know we're not voting on anything tonight. I certainly realize that. I know what we're really here for is to discuss whether the plan is complete enough to proceed to our first hearing a month from today. We did want to, and again, we can discuss it today. We can not. I did want to bring to your attention in the signage packet. I'm trying to pick a page for you. Certainly at the purview of the Plan Commission, but if you go to the signage book, sheet 3 of 5,
Yeah.
it's towards the tail end. Wendy's was, whether legal or not, they were allowed an aerial sign. We did want to entertain the possibility of, when I say aerial, I don't mean 20 feet tall, but this is an example of a pylon sign that Hubrew and 7 Brew uses in areas where they are allowed. From what I understand, the way the overlay district works, it's at the purview of the Plan Commission whether this is acceptable. If this is the one we would prefer, we won't beat around the bush when it comes to that. But in the event that a month from now you do not find this to your tastes, then the following page is
Monument
a
sign.
monument sign. So we wanted to make sure there wasn't any.
That was my next question, is what, are you looking to have both, or
No.
just?
No, but obviously, if we do not expect to have both, but
Yeah.
we'll be frank, we would very much prefer the pylon sign, and so but we wanted to make sure we provided illustrations of both.
And
Would you be just I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so G1 and sheet 2 of 5 in the G1 would be where the pylon sign would be.
We want it there, right?
Yeah, G is, that's what currently is.
You got
Yeah, we
G1
would
and
keep it
G.
there. Yeah, I think our intent there is if we were allowed the pylon sign, it would most certainly go in the same location where Wendy's sign is now, and then G1 would be no sign there at all. I think if we were locked into the pylon sign, I think we'd take it back to the brand and figure out which one of those locations to cite the monument sign. But there is no petition for two signs on 41.
Okay, so you're not looking for two, you just, those are your two choices, which you're looking for input, yeah.
Are you changing the faces of the sign that's currently there? You're not changing the pole and such?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially a direct replacement. It's no longer going to have the old school placards that you can change out. It's just simply the sign in that location. So I think you could treat it as a brand-new sign in the same spot. I think that answers what you're asking.
That's where the problem starts. If it's just fascias, it's one thing, changing the whole sign. Denise, could you give me your input on that?
Basically, it's a new sign, so that's, they're looking for direction if you want them to do a monument-style sign or pylon. Or a pylon.
So would it need to have a variance from us?
It's in the overlay, so that's
So
up,
as
It
long
would
as-
just be
yeah,
As long
it's
as we
something,
approve
a
it.
point that we make,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And I can understand your wishes because coming down off that hill, there's so much going on at the same time. I can see wanting the pylon sign, but we've been pushing more and more for monuments all along. So I guess it's going to be the flavor of the plan commission.
Thoughts?
I would just think if we did say the monument sign, I would push it to that G position and as opposed to the G1, just for line of sight. If we allowed for the aerial sign, I think it would be fine in that G1 spot because the mass of it would be higher. Line of sight would be okay. I could go either way on it.
I think what it really comes down to is us deciding, do we want the pylon sign or the monument first?
Yeah,
And then decide
location, yeah,
location.
yeah, I'm with you.
That makes it very clear. And again, coming off that hill, I can see having a pylon sign.
Mr. Kokan?
I don't know, I like them both.
Well,
So,
the monument
Yeah.
is permitted.
right, and the other one needs a variance.
Pylon,
Right,
we have to let them know
right.
what we want to do, because they have to go back to their, so I want to hear from
Yeah.
each member what their thoughts are, so they don't go reinvent the wheel and then come back and say, no, we don't want that. They're looking for direction tonight, whether it's pylon or monument.
Hey, Tom,
Yes,
just for clarification too, the monument sign under the new ordinance can be 2 feet taller than it's shown here.
could be 2
If
feet
that
taller.
helps. Yeah, because it doesn't include the base. So it could be 6 feet plus 2 feet for the base. If that helps,
Okay.
rather than 20 feet tall.
Not much shorter.
Yeah, I think if the monument sign is what is typically allowed and what we've been pushing for a long time, we should try and keep consistency, especially if it can be a little bigger, if that would be helpful.
Mr. Jarvis?
I like the way the monument sign looks, but again, I have the issue of coming off the hill, but maybe we could grant a couple extra feet to the monument.
Well, it'll be total of 8 feet 2 feet for the base and 6 feet for the sign.
Right, but if we granted 2 more feet, that'd be 10 instead of 20. Because I've been also trying to get away from the taller signs. But I can see the argument either way. And the monument looks better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more for the monument.
Mr. Rack?
The monument does look better.
Like I said, in terms of consistency and whatnot, I think the monument sign is what we should go with.
So
I
out
think
of the 5 members that are here, we're all leaning towards monument. Mr. Jarvis suggested maybe going a little higher, if that's something that might help you. What are people's thoughts on that one?
I'm sorry.
Going 2 feet higher,
Yeah, going to 10 instead of
Sounds
8,
good.
Mr. Rack?
just because it's down at the bottom of the hill.
Still think the 8 foot that he's saying that they're allowed is gonna be high enough. I mean,
Okay, I can live with that.
I think the 8 foot's fine.
Yeah.
Mr. Kokon?
8 foot total height with the
8 feet?
2 feet, yep.
Yeah, I think they should keep within what's allowed.
Okay. So we're, the 5 of 7 that are here are in favor of the 6-foot sign on top of a 2-foot base. Correct?
No, I said that wrong, sorry. 8 foot in height
8-foot sign,
and
8-foot
and a
sign.
2-foot base.
Yeah, on a 2
Okay.
feet, on a 2-foot base.
And it could also be 8 wide.
So 8 by 8 on a 2-foot base.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Other concerns, comments, questions? You got the landscape, put a lot of trees up, that's, I like that. Everyone else wants to take trees down. And then lighting plan, you said you don't have at this point, but it will meet code.
No, it is in your, it is one of the pages in the packet. I believe it is earlier in your packet.
Okay.
We
Oh, yeah,
developed,
here we go, all right.
for the most part, it will utilize, obviously, new fixtures for the property. There will be a couple that were, that are removed from the Wendy's plan, but what we did before we went for the special use was we had that photometric developed to prove that there are no variants involved. So
Yeah.
that is already
Okay.
checked out.
Anything further from staff?
Yeah, we did review that as well by our engineer, and he's good with it. Meets the ordinance.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? What's your timetable?
Today?
2 months to the day from 2 months and a day from tonight. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I know we did when we provided the packets. We also provided Nice with background design for the parking lot and what have you. So we're very eager to get to our formal hearings.
What meeting would they,
August,
okay, I'll make the August,
yes.
okay. Any other final concerns, questions? Anything from staff? We'll see you August 3rd?
Third.
August 3rd.
Thank you very much. I'll work with Denise on the advertisements, and we'll see you in a month.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
There are no advertisements.
Next item, Coffee Cabin, permanent outdoor attraction. General location 350 West Lincoln Highway, Tract 4 in the corrected plat of Lincoln Ridge Plan Unit Development. Petitioner Coffee Cabin LLC, Jeff Conti, owner, requests US 30 Commercial Corridor Overlay District Development Plan Review. Good evening.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jeff Conti. Together with my wife Dana, we own a coffee cabin in Schererville, 350 West Lincoln Highway. Unlike Seven Brew, we were obviously the only drive-through coffee shop for the longest time. but we are now enhancing our outdoor area. As you can see, it's quite an elaborate plan. Again, I know some of you are on the different commissions, but it looks pretty elaborate, and it is, but it's also mainly just a fence. It's just posts going into the ground with skins on them to form a village facade. As you walk through it, it's going to be basically like window shopping. You're gonna walk past the windows and you're gonna see games, hidden object games, maybe some fun mirror type of tricks of the eye, a lot of fun things to look at and see in the windows of the shops. In the shops, there's 16 shops, and things like there'll be a candy store and a toy store and all those things, and so the windows will match those themes. And this will be the general theme is, as you can see, it's a Tudor style village that has, as I mentioned in the paperwork, many special features, many special effects, things that families, couples, children can trigger to get a reaction out of things you've never seen before. And a lot of it just, again, is just coming from my brain, so it's just a matter of what I can design, and I'm not really limited by my imagination. And so there will be all kinds of fun things that switch out from season to season. It'll be open, depending on the weather, mid-April through the end of the year. We expect Halloween, the fall, and Christmas seasons to be our two busiest seasons. And coincidentally, luckily for us, that's when it also gets darker. So it will be a daytime activity as well, after noon or 1 o'clock. We still have to iron out the operating hours in terms of something like this, because we do get a lot of bike riders and walkers. We certainly don't want to charge them to go in, because we're probably going to have a small admission fee to it, but we don't want to charge them to go in and have a coffee in the morning. So, and plus we want to leave it open for moms with small children to be able to come in. And we don't want to really have to have people there when we're not going to be as busy. In terms of walking around in the space, answering questions, taking photos for people, that kind of thing. We still have a few things to figure out from an operational standpoint, but for the most part, we're going to be flexible to how the market responds. We've been polling our customers a lot lately. Dana and I have been there a lot, walking the space, trying to get the most out of it. It's a fairly small space, only about 8,000 square feet. And so trying to get the most out of it. And as people come up, regulars and those kind of, just regular people, even some strangers that we never met before, we try to kind of talk to them a little bit and see what they think about the concept. We show them some larger views we have of it, get a little feedback from them, and we've been very encouraged by some of the things that the public is saying about it. As you know, we met with the BZA, and we had a unanimous approval. The town council was also, I would say, enthusiastic about it. It's some of the members think it's something that they could see bringing their kids to. But we're here today to try to get the process going so we can start building. Because you asked about timetables with Seven Brew. I can tell you our timetable, as Denise and Jim know, I've been pushing pretty hard because we want to open in September, late September, for Halloween and fall. So I've already started pre-building some of these things, because the nature of the way we're going to build these, they can't be pre-built off-site and then brought in kits and installed in place. And so, and if somehow we didn't get approval from the town, we would have found an alternate site. We have a couple ideas. People with the Lake County Parks and some other people as a plan B if we had to do that. And so it's certainly not much of a risk for me to go ahead and build these. But we'd like to open late September if we can. But it's a tall order because we have quite a bit to do. Because as you see here, there's quite a bit in the buildings, but there's also a lot of photo displays, photo ops for families, a lot of games and activities that are in the courtyard area, the center area, and those will change throughout the seasons as well. And so we have to work on all these things to make sure it all comes together at the right time, as well as the operational things, making sure that we're up-staffed on it, making sure that our materials and our inventory is higher, because we anticipate, we're doing it to try to respond to the onslaught of other coffee shops in the Tri-Town area. So that's kind of where we stand. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Jarvis?
a couple of quick questions, Jeff. Why do you have gates on your thoroughfare for the coffee service?
That's just so that at nighttime, when we designed this with the master plan, we obviously planned for a few things, but we didn't plan for this. And so at nighttime, we're gonna close the drive-through down. When we're open, when this is open, in the evening, when the lights all come on, the drive-through will be closed, and it'll be open to pedestrian traffic. That's where people will be able to walk through. And so we wanna be able to close it off so there's no issue with cars trying to come through when there's people present.
So then it'd only be walk-up traffic for coffee?
Right.
Okay.
Where are people going to park?
So we have the 26 spaces, but we are also part of the PUD. And so the parking lot is available to us at Lincoln Ridge as well. Helix is our landlord. They're the ones that own the land. We own everything on the land, but they are our landlord, and they are obviously closed, with the exception of 3 days a week and certainly never at night. So all those spaces are open to us as well. And that's another reason why we open the pedestrian side. We don't want people trying to enter on, originally we were gonna have people walk up through the exit lane of the drive-through, but it's too close to the Reed Lane entrance. We don't want anybody coming around too fast. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to encourage people to walk up the actual drive-in lane and stack that way. So walk up, create a line that way, so that it's far enough away from the entrances that we don't have to worry about, accidents and that kind of thing.
So you have rights to that parking lot of Lincoln?
Yes, well, it's part of the PUD. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm just making sure that,
The PUD was there before we were. When we first built Coffee Cabin 12 years ago, that was one of the things we looked into. At the time, First Financial Bank owned the property, which we found out subsequently. We thought we were buying it from, what's this? Brant, Jeff, I was dealing with Jeff Brant and his father, and so we thought, they represented they owned the property, so we kind of got a few surprises the day we opened. The day we opened was the day we got a first right of refusal offer from the bank to buy the property. We weren't offered that before because they were using, this was a white elephant. As you may remember, this was a dedicated green space, and so it was never to be built on. When we ended up getting all of our variances and built on it, this was the white elephant that made it difficult to sell the west wing of the plaza. When we did this, now it was, it was producing extra revenue. So now it was more of an exciting thing for the eye doctor, for Leo and Surrey to purchase it because they had a tenant at this point. We do have an agreement to buy the property from them should they ever vacate the property or sell the property. Right now, it's tied to their financing deals, and they don't want to separate it. And I'm also probably increasing the value of it for them, so they don't want to get rid of it too soon. They'd rather me spend my money to fix it up so they can charge me more when I buy it. But just my history. Yeah, I think it basically answers the question. I think.
Now, the street that's kind of in front of the coffee cabin, do you have the rights to block that off so there's no car traffic during when you're having an event?
You mean through the parking lot?
Yeah.
No, we don't have any, I know I spoke to Andy, I think, this week because we were looking at, there were a couple potholes developed and we didn't know whose job that was because technically it's Helix's property, it's part of our tract. But the town has right of way, people obviously use it constantly. When we seal it and restripe it like we want to do because right now we have we're a drive-through, so we don't have any handicap spots, but we do have a couple of spots reserved to make them handicap spots. And so we're going to restripe everything, and we want to reseal it when we do that. So we're going to have to seal it all off for a couple of days to reseal it. That's not going to be easy because people use it constantly. But we don't plan on closing anything off, ever.
Okay.
So,
And then US 30, what is the view of the backside of all these buildings? What do you see from US 30?
you see the exact same things you see on the inside. So I always plan on making them double-sided, but Caleb Johnson at the BZA meeting mentioned that there were a couple that weren't. For instance, the one furthest to the left there that faces perpendicular to our cabin, our current cabin, you can see it's finished a little bit, but it wasn't as finished. And the 3 or 4 that we had previously on Reed Lane weren't finished on the backside for security reasons mainly. I didn't want, windows and doors, even though they're not real windows and doors. If somebody really wanted to break in, that would be the most obvious place to probably try to do that. I wasn't closing those off. We don't really have an issue with crime there, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus, we'll have plenty of cameras and all those things. So now, every single building we have is identical on the front and the back. But people cannot access the other side. Another reason why I made a change, because at the BZA I presented the length of stores that run, I call them stores, shops, that run parallel to US 30, those dissected the property. And I did that because I was creating a little bit more traffic flow for people to work around the property. But I think this is more secure. Again, this maximizes the space. And by using the corner building that we created right there on the southwest corner, we'll call that a playhouse, and it's kind of a double play on words because we can actually use that as, if we ever wanted to have a little concert, like I say, a soloist come in. We've done that before for kids' concerts, the daytime things, or we've had storytellers come in and tell stories for Halloween and that kind of thing. That'd be a perfect place to do it. In this way, it's a little bit of an amphitheater. As you can see, it's 118-degree angles on both sides, so that it just fans out nicely for people to line their chairs out and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's going to be identical on both sides, I guess.
And none of the doors open.
A few do, but those are mainly because I have to access them because the special effects have to be changed out, movements and lights and things like that have to be able to be changed
But
out.
not to the general public.
Nothing will be able to the general public. I will say that, just in case, just anticipating you might ask it, but also because I'm into master planning, I want to plan for the long term. The building, again, all the way over to the left, is 6 foot deep. On that drawing, it's wrong. I've updated it a little bit because I decided to leave, it will start out just as a storefront, but we are leaving it open so that we can turn it into public restrooms at some point. Our sewer tap is literally 10 feet away from it. Our water tap's 10 feet away from it. So later on, if we come in front of the Plan Commission or the building department to turn it into 2 unisex bathrooms, we'd like to have that ability to do that. To start out, we're just going to have porta potties out there and prove the concept. I don't want to delay anything because I know that from experience that when you add things like that, you have to go in front of the DHS sometimes, and it just adds a lot more time to it. We don't want to miss this season. I don't know if having a couple sinks and a couple toilets would cause that problem, but I don't want to take a chance. But we are planning it for the future, that we could turn it into 2 permanent bathrooms. Because even now, people do ask to use our restroom, and we only have a restroom for our staff, but we let people come in and use it, but it's not really what we like to do, So I'm thinking ahead that we may need that someday. And so I'm hoping we will. I expect we will. And if we don't, then it will be temporary storage for some extra product. We're going to get rid of the My Box that we have outside because we never liked that. And some of these will basically be, you won't be able to see it, but there'll be a little bit of storage capacity for us to store a few boxes here and there if we need to for any kind of like big events we might have. But no, none of them are access to the public, and none of them have running water. None of them are conditioned space, with the exception of when we do the bathrooms. Obviously, we'll have to deal with that at that time. They will all be powered, but we have the power we need. We have a 200 amp service at the facility. One thing we did right when we did build it, knowing we have an outdoor seating area, we ran conduit everywhere when we opened it. Every island we have has got conduit running out to it, so we can put lights anywhere that we need to. And we have a 30 amp circuit that we actually, I just realized it was actually 2 30 amp circuits. I always just thought it was one, but I looked at it the other day, and it's actually 2 on the corner of the addition that we put on. We did that back during COVID because we were letting food trucks park on our lawn and sell product when they were out of business. Nobody was doing festivals and that kind of thing, and they were running their generators, and we just thought it'd be easier for them to plug into the power. So we created those, and those are right where that building, again, all the way to the left, is going to be placed. So all we have to do is tap right there and run power through the buildings. It's all LED lights. It's 30 amps would be plenty to run the entire thing. But all the trees already have stub ups for the lights that we're going to do. We're going to do the lights kind of like we did at Northwoods when we were trying to get things going. You might remember when we had the walking trail out back. The trees will be uplit and inside of a ring of like a landscaping ring, so kids or anybody else can't get near the lights. But the whole idea is to make the place kind of a magical place.
So no extension cords.
No such cords.
Okay.
My question.
No.
Is there gonna be bollards along Reed Lane and between the storefronts and US 30 to prevent a vehicle from driving off the road and into the?
Yeah, so obviously, we're well off the road because as you can see, we're on our property, and so we're more than 45 feet. We actually have 45 feet, plus you have the deceleration lane there. So we're more than 45 feet off. I don't anticipate anybody doing anything like that, but we did mention, we were gonna do it anyway, but we did have a fence originally going around the property, and that fence was gonna have bollards built into the fence, inside the fence line itself. But now, with the buildings, they basically, there's a ton of 4x4s going 4 feet into the ground, or 42 inches into the ground. So, for all intents and purposes, those buildings form about the strongest bollards you're gonna get. So, it would take some kind of a force to get through that, but.
Yeah, but we have regulations for bollards that, and especially on Reed Lane there, because you're 10 feet away.
We had brought it up at the BZA, and he was talking about incorporating them into the fence.
Right, but.
So to keep the look appropriate.
And we moved the buildings out towards the fence line, but we are happy to place some right inside the buildings. Again, the buildings, they're just open spaces on the inside for the most part, just to give me access to the windows and things like that. So at the points where, in the temporary pop-up we were gonna do, the point was worried, the police department was worried about, was obviously the one, the first building you hit right next to that big tree. Just because people, if they were to come off, in 12 years, nobody's ever driven off the road, but if they were, they'd have to come pretty far through the lawn. But we are happy to conceal anything inside those walls that will help beef them up even more. So we're completely okay with that.
Denise or Andy, what are the requirements for public facilities there, restrooms and such?
If there's food being served inside, but it's not,
Okay,
So,
I just, it's a unique situation.
Right.
So I didn't know if there's requirements for,
I was trying to plan ahead just in case, if it's as successful as we think it's gonna be, then we're gonna need to have public restrooms, and I'd prefer to have that. But I didn't, in case the DHS got involved and it took another 3 or 4 months to get permits, I didn't want to request that at this point. But if those things aren't required, then I can always make it part of their permit package, and we can put those in as well. I'm happy to do it. Again, it works out great because, again, our taps are right there on the other side of that tree behind that building. And so it'd be very easy our meter's in that little fireplace area, so it's real easy to get to the water supply and the sewer tap.
But you might want to look into the health department, because if you're doing a drive-through, having a restroom, I don't think is critical. But if you're serving food and people are on site, I think you do have to have a bathroom. Check with the health department.
I talked to our inspector, and they didn't see any issues with this. They just said if we ever served like anything at a stand outside of the main building, we'd have to have running water, and she just said, you can use something like a camera. We're not gonna do that, because obviously that's the point of the cabin. But she said that was the only thing she had to say about that. But I will check with the health department to see if there's something different, because right now we do that anyway. Right now, people come and buy coffee and have sweet rolls and breakfast.
Well,
off
I
the
get
picnic
it, but
tables.
that's a drive-through.
Well, we do have the 4 picnic tables out there, obviously, and so people sit out there too as well. But it hasn't been an issue, but we're gonna have a lot more people out there with this.
But at the point when you start serving food out at a table or in front of one of these buildings, you may want to find out, just make sure.
I will. Again, it's a unique situation. So I wanna make sure that, again, I don't wanna delay anything, but I wanna be prepared for everything. I have no problem putting the bathrooms in now. I just don't know what the rules are, because, I've been building for a long time, but when I built the cabin, DHS wasn't involved in any permitting process. I built a number of coffee cabins in other towns where we changed our Verizon store, for instance, like 14 sinks. The number of sinks got over a certain limit, which I don't know the code on.
Jeff, I'll give you my opinion. I take my grandchildren to this, which I would, because I like the concept, but I would never get my kids inside of a porta potty.
I understand.
That ain't gonna happen.
Well, so that's why it's a two-layered effect. We plan on doing, again, I wanted to talk to, maybe you guys are the ones to talk to, I don't know who I talked to. I didn't know if it was the building commissioner or who, about the permitting process to get the bathrooms, but it'd be easy to put them in, put it that way.
I would start with Denise.
Yeah, okay. So that's something to talk about. So,
Other questions, comments, concerns?
So how long during the day would this village be open? Like, what would be the hours for it?
well, right now, we're anticipating Monday through Friday, we'll start at noon, and we'll open up, and then it'll run until, on Sunday through Thursday, it'll run till 10 o'clock, and then on Friday and Saturday till 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Because obviously, we're trying to take advantage of the lighting, especially now with all the new laws being, they made daylight savings time may become permanent. It's going to limit us a little bit more, that kind of thing. We want as many, even though it's a really cool thing to see in the daytime, it really comes to life at night.
And then just to reiterate, there's not going to be extension cables
Nothing.
running across the grounds there for people to trip on? or-
No, we might have some temporary, displays for photo ops in the courtyard area, what I call the courtyard area near those, between all those three trees. But we're gonna have lights strung overhead, bistro lights like we have now. And so any drops we have to do to a tree or something like that temporary, we would do that. But we don't anticipate needing anything like that. We already have power to all three of the big trees you see there, plus the three big spruce trees that we have out there. We already have stub ups for all those and the flag. And we have GFI all around our cabin because we anticipated these issues. So, but we won't need anything like it, Sister Cordell. That won't happen.
How close is the closest Les Jardins building there? What's that? Is it?
It's pretty far.
So it's a ways, yeah. I was trying to figure, okay.
How far are those homes to the north?
I think the gentleman in that house actually was at the, I think he spoke at the meeting that we had at the public hearing.
Other questions? Anything from staff? Yeah, I would find out, make sure, check with the health department, see what their requirements are for restrooms, for something like that. Because this is something new that I've not seen before, and I'd hate to see you start doing that and have the health department come and say, you gotta have this before you can open. Yeah.
Sure.
One more question.
Mr. Luck.
If you were to, I don't know, lose your lease or move or something, would the building stay on the site? Would you take them with you? What would happen then?
So that's part of the reason why I'm building them in kits as well. If something did happen, it just, not that I'm worried about it, but it's been asked a number of times at these meetings, what would happen if we were to lose our lease or something like that? I don't anticipate that happening. Obviously, we've been there for 12 years, and we still have 18 years left on our lease, plus a bunch of other things. But these would all come down very easy, come down like a fence. Again, the 4x4 post in the ground. The ground over there is all sand. It's beach sand under the soil. It's beautiful sand. So to take it all out would be very, very easy to do. Just basically be disassembling the kits and taking them off site. I wouldn't do this kind of investment unless I could recoup it somewhere else. And we plan on doing a lot of temporary pop-ups, really large ones, size of football fields, in other locations. starting next year. This is going to be kind of a proof of concept for it, and as well, something that would help Coffee Cabin. Those could be used anywhere. I've even got a design that would be totally portable if I needed to, where they would be very much like a carnival ride, and the way it packs up and folds up. These could be made to do that if I really needed them to do. If I spent a few, weeks taking them apart and redoing everything. So to answer your question, our lease calls for us to return everything to dressed dirt should we leave the property. So building and everything. That was a modular building when it started. We did the addition on it, but the entire thing could be lifted up with a crane if it had to be.
Okay.
Anything from staff? Okay. Yeah, get with the health department, see what they require if they require
Okay,
restrooms, and,
I'll do that, and then I'll talk to you.
yeah, get with Denise, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
okay,
very good, thank you.
thank you.
Keep hitting that thing.
Is there any correspondence? We are adjourned.